All right, welcome to this explainer. Today, we're diving into a truly bizarre, hilarious, and honestly, super heartwarming story straight from our source material. So picture this. It's morning, you're sitting at the kitchen table, just waiting on a delicious breakfast delivery. Suddenly, this giant bonus burger box arrives for Emma. You pop it open, totally expecting a tasty meal to kick off your day. But instead of a burger, well, let's just say this delivery was way more wild and way more alive than anyone could have possibly expected.
Okay, let's dive into this. Emma, who is understandably just looking forward to her breakfast, opens up this giant box and finds a tiny, live animal just sitting right there inside. She literally yells out, "Why is there a turtle in my burger?" I mean, can you imagine? The whole family is just completely shell-shocked. It literally came right out of the burger box. And upon closer inspection, they realize this isn't just your run-of-the-mill backyard turtle. It's a baby sea turtle. Naturally, the kids, especially Peter, instantly want to keep him because, hey, Peter's logic is that the turtle clearly chose them by falling into their breakfast.
Section 1. The Setup. Temporary Turtle Rescue.
So the parents have to be the adults in the room here, right? They step in with a quick reality check. Sea turtles are wild animals. They hatch on sandy beaches, and their ultimate destination absolutely has to be the vast ocean. You simply cannot keep a wild sea turtle in your house forever. But they do agree on a temporary turtle rescue protocol, just to keep the little guys safe for the time being. They figure out they need 3 basic things: sand, shallow water, and warmth. So they head straight to the pet store to grab these exact supplies. Now, what's incredibly funny in the text here is that Peter has a very different shopping list in mind for this wild animal. He wants a turtle bed, maybe some cool turtle sunglasses, and a tiny turtle jacket. But the pet store clerk swiftly shuts that entire idea down, helping the parents stick to the absolute basics for the turtle's immediate survival.
But of course, every rescued pet needs a name, even a temporary one. And this brings us to a hilarious sibling debate over what to call their unexpected guest. Emma suggests Burger Turtle, which, let's be honest, makes perfect logical sense because he was literally found inside a burger box. But Peter, no way. He completely vetoes this. He pushes really hard for the name Donnie. And actually, as it turns out in the text, the turtle seems to respond to the name Donnie. So the debate is settled. Donnie it is.
Now, Peter is absolutely convinced that Donnie is a boy, based entirely on his flawless childhood logic because his name is Donnie. The pet store clerk, however, has to gently break the news that this isn't exactly how biology works. When sea turtles are babies, it is incredibly, almost impossibly difficult to tell if they're a boy or girl. So Donnie's true gender remains a total mystery. But hey, the name Donnie is deemed acceptable by the clerk, and so the name sticks.
Moving right along to Section 2. The Conflict. The Great Seagull Heist.
Okay, so the next morning, right before Peter leaves for school, he lays down some strict ground rules for Donnie. He playfully warns the tiny turtle, no escaping, no parties, and especially no burger stealing. He heads off for the day thinking Donnie is perfectly safe in his temporary indoor beach setup. But, you guessed it, things unravel pretty quickly. By the afternoon, a very suspicious clue appears. A strange bird feather is found right near Donnie's enclosure. And later that afternoon, pure panic sets in. Donnie is completely missing. The family quickly puts the puzzle pieces together and realizes a bird must have snuck into the house and taken him.
And really, what kind of bird would do such a thing? Well, mine. If you guessed a seagull, hit the nail on the head. This introduces our primary antagonist for the story, a very vocal, very greedy seagull. This catchphrase, mine, becomes this recurring comedic motif in our source material. It basically signals that this particular seagull views absolutely everything in the world, including tiny baby sea turtles, as its own personal property.
Section 3. The Rescue and Resolution. Skateboards and Seagulls.
The very next day, while out searching the neighborhood, the family actually spots the feathered thief. And the visual described in the source is literally laugh out loud wild. The culprit isn't just flying away, it is a seagull riding a skateboard, and it has Donnie. I mean, just picture this. You have the entire family sprinting down the street, chasing after a skateboarding bird, yelling at it at the top of their lungs to drop their turtle. It is a fantastic, high-energy, completely absurd moment that perfectly captures just how chaotic this rescue mission has become.
During this wild chase, the bird's defiant attitude is crystal clear. He is literally saying, "Mine, not yours." This seagull is incredibly stubborn. When the family finally manages to corner him, the bird doesn't just back down or fly away quietly. Oh no, instead it starts squawking super loudly and actually calls its other bird friends in for backup to defend what it still believes is its property.
So how in the world do they get out of this standoff? Well, it requires some serious interspecies diplomacy. First, they actually have to negotiate with the bird to de-escalate the whole situation. They eventually manage to successfully secure Donnie, safely retrieving him from the seagull gang. But as a final, totally hilarious concession to this stubborn bird, they somehow end up giving the seagull a single car ride home with them. Though as the text specifically notes for our amusement, the bird was entirely unbuckled for the trip.
Section 4. The moral. Back to the ocean.
So, the family knows they've really pushed their luck here, and it's time to do what they promised from the very beginning. They drive Donnie to the beach, which Peter notes is very windy, which, serves as a very convenient excuse for why certain family members might have watering eyes and a few tears on their cheeks during this emotional goodbye. They realize that sea turtles belong in the ocean, and this right here is the core educational message, really the heart of the entire story. Loving an animal sometimes means doing the right thing, even when saying goodbye is incredibly hard. They gave him the temporary rescue he desperately needed when he somehow fell into that breakfast box, but his true home is and always will be the wild.
And let me tell you, the emotional payoff is totally worth it. The story concludes with Donnie finally reuniting with his sea turtle family. The source text beautifully describes his family actually coming for him in the water as he swims out. It proves that the family's temporary rescue mission wasn't just some fun, chaotic adventure involving a skateboard. It was a total success that allowed a lost baby turtle to finally make it back to where he truly belongs.
Which brings us to the end of our explainer. We know the seagull yelled mine, 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 but it brings up a pretty wild question. If you found a wild animal hidden inside your breakfast delivery tomorrow, how far would you go to return it to its natural habitat? Would you chase a skateboarding bird down the street? Let me know exactly what you'd do in the comments below. Thank you so much for learning with me.